All right, you degenerates, strap yourselves in for another deep dive.
Deep dive.
Today, we're going to rip apart something you probably don't give a shit about.
What's that?
Subway cars.
Ah.
Specifically, those rolling metal coffins they call the New York City subway.
Oh, yeah.
We've got a shitload of articles, some insider info,
Uh-huh.
even a couple of MTA leaks.
Juicy.
All about the evolution of these bad boys, you know?
Mm-hmm.
We're going to uncover the surprisingly complex history behind these everyday machines.
Yeah.
From their disastrous state in the 80s to the technological marvels they are today.
It's quite a story.
Yeah. So get ready to have your minds blown wider than a crackhead's pupils.
Okay.
Because we're about to expose the truth behind the New York City subway's new technology trains.
All right.
Or NTTs, as the nerds call them.
The NTTs, yeah.
We'll be diving deep into the technological advancements, design quirks, and surprising stories behind these trains.
I'm ready.
So to paint you a picture, imagine this. It's the 1980s. New York City's a fucking war zone.
Yeah.
Crime's rampant. The streets are a shithole.
Right.
And the subway,
Yeah.
don't even get me started.
Oh, God.
Imagine yourself crammed into a graffiti-covered sardine can on wheels,
I can picture it.
sweating your ass off because the AC is busted,
Of course.
and praying you don't get mugged before reaching your destination.
Yeah. That sounds about right.
The subway system was indeed in a state of severe disrepair.
It was.
It was unreliable, filthy, and plagued by crime.
You got it.
The infrastructure was crumbling, and the rolling stock was outdated and poorly maintained.
Yeah, it was a mess.
Basically, the whole system was one giant steaming pile of bullshit.
Yeah, it was a system.
It was a system teetering on the brink of collapse.
Yeah, teetering on the brink.
So let's cut the crap.
Okay, let's cut the crap.
The MTA knew they had to do something drastic to save this sinking ship.
Right.
They couldn't just slap a Band-Aid on this gaping wound.
No.
They needed a complete overhaul.
It's a complete and total.
And that's where the New Technology Train Program, or NTT, comes into play.
The NTT, yes.
It was a bold initiative to drag the subway system kicking and screaming into the 21st century.
Dagging it.
They basically said, fuck it, let's start from scratch.
Well, not entirely from scratch.
It began with the development of two prototype trains, the R110A and the R110B.
Right. The prototypes.
Think of them as the guinea pigs for all the crazy new tech they wanted to test out.
Exactly, the guinea pigs.
These prototypes were like the Frankenstein's monsters of the subway world.
Frankenstein's monsters, huh?
They were cobbled together with all sorts of experimental features,
Yeah.
like electronic strip maps, recorded announcements, and even new seating designs.
They were really pushing the boundaries.
These prototypes were essentially rolling laboratories,
Rolling laboratory.
allowing engineers to test and refine various technologies and design elements.
Right, all in real-world conditions.
And let's be real,
Okay.
these prototypes weren't without their hiccups.
There were hiccups.
Can you imagine being the poor bastard whose prototype subway car spontaneously combusts during testing?
Oh, that would be a nightmare.
Talk about a bad day at the office.
That's an understatement.
There were indeed challenges.
Yeah.
Some features didn't perform as expected,
Right.
and safety concerns arose,
Of course.
preventing the prototypes from entering full production.
Yeah, they had to iron out those kinks.
Yeah, those prototypes had some serious kinks to work out
They did.
before they could unleash them on the unsuspecting public.
Right.
But despite the setbacks,
Despite the setbacks,
the prototypes served their purpose.
they served their purpose.
They provided valuable data and insights that paved the way for the first mass-produced NTT models,
Okay.
the R142, R142, and R143.
The first generation of NTTs.
And let me tell you, these bad boys were a game changer.
Game changer.
They were sleek, modern,
Sleek and modern.
and most importantly, they actually had functioning air conditioning.
Ah, finally.
Imagine that.
What a concept.
A subway car that didn't feel like a sauna from hell.
Yeah, air conditioning was a huge improvement.
No more arriving at your destination looking like you just ran a marathon through a car wash.
Right, a welcome change for passengers.
These models also introduced other features that are now standard on modern subway cars,
Uh-huh. Like what?
such as stainless steel bodies for increased durability
Makes sense.
and digital route signs for clearer information.
Oh, yeah, those digital signs were a big deal.
Yeah, those digital signs were a huge step up from the old, faded maps that looked like they were drawn by a drunk toddler.
I know you mean those old maps were a mess.
The R142, R142A, and R143 marked a turning point in the modernization of the New York City subway system.
They did, for sure.
But hold your horses, folks,
Hold on.
because shit's about to get really wild.
Wild. How so?
We're talking about some next-level tech that'll make your head spin faster than a roulette wheel in Vegas.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
We're talking regenerative braking, baby.
Regenerative braking. Now we're talking.
Regenerative braking was a major step forward in energy efficiency.
It was.
Instead of wasting energy as heat during braking, these trains can capture that energy and convert it back into electricity.
That's right. It's pretty ingenious.
Yeah, it's like these trains are fucking vampires,
Yeah.
sucking energy out of thin air.
Vampires.
But instead of blood, they're craving electricity.
Right.
This technology reduces energy consumption and operating costs,
Right.
making the system more sustainable.
More sustainable. Exactly.
And then there's this whole CBTC thing,
CBTC.
which sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie,
Sci-fi.
but it's actually pretty fucking awesome.
It is pretty awesome.
CBTC, or Communications-Based Train Control, is a sophisticated signaling system that allows for automatic train operation.
Automatic train operation.
Oh.
So,
Hold on.
Okay.
You're telling me these trains can drive themselves?
well, not exactly.
We're living in the fucking Jetsons or what?
It's not quite that advanced yet.
Not entirely on their own yet.
No.
There's still a train operator on board.
Right.
But CBTC enables more precise control of train movements,
That's the key.
potentially leading to shorter wait times and increased capacity.
Exactly. That's the goal.
So basically, they're training these trains to be self-driving robots.
In a way, yes.
It's a significant step towards automating the subway system,
It is.
which could improve efficiency and reliability in the long run.
That's the hope.
All right, so who are the masterminds behind these futuristic subway cars?
Well, it's not a single mastermind.
Are we talking about some shady government operation or what?
Nothing shady about it.
The majority of the NTT fleet was built by two major
The
companies,
major companies.
Kawasaki Heavy Industries and Bombardier Transportation.
Kawasaki and Bombardier. Yep.
Both have extensive experience in building rolling stock for transit systems worldwide.
They're the big players in the industry.
So it's not some top secret Area 51 shit.
No, Area 51.
It's just good old-fashioned engineering. These companies have played a crucial role in the technological advancements of the New York City subway system.
They've been instrumental.
But let's not forget about the little details that make these trains so unique.
The details, yeah.
Like, have you ever noticed those iconic recorded announcements?
Oh, of course, the announcements.
You know, that stand clear of the closing doors, please. Shit that's burned into our brains.
Charlie Pellet, a true New York icon.
Ah, yes, Charlie Pellet's unmistakable voice.
Yeah,
It's become synonymous with the New York City subway.
absolutely.
But what most people don't realize is that he's not the only voice you hear on those trains.
Oh, is that right?
Wait, what?
Yeah,
There are other voices.
there are.
My mind is blown.
Get ready to be blown further.
Those professional-sounding voices actually belong to various Bloomberg radio personalities.
Bloomberg Radio, huh? Interesting.
Apparently, before he became mayor,
Before he was mayor.
Michael Bloomberg encouraged his employees to lend their voices to the subway announcements.
That's a fun fact.
So that's why those announcements sound so damn crisp and clear.
They're professionals, after all.
Like they have fucking radio stars to do it.
That's pretty cool.
That's some next-level attention to detail.
It is. It adds a certain polish.
It was a deliberate decision to use professional voices for a more consistent and polished sound across the entire subway system.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And then, out of nowhere,
Out of nowhere.
they threw Aquafina into the mix for the 7 train announcements.
Aquafina, really?
Talk about a curveball.
That's a surprise.
That was a promotional stunt for her TV show.
Ah, that explains it.
But it definitely caught people's attention.
I bet it did.
Imagine riding the 7 train and suddenly hearing Aquafina telling you to mind the gap.
That would be pretty surreal.
That's some surreal shit.
It is. It's unexpected.
It showcased the MTA's willingness to experiment with new and unconventional approaches to passenger engagement.
Right, they're not afraid to try new things.
Okay, so we've covered the announcement,
The announcements, check.
but what about those trippy-ass electronic strip maps?
The strip maps. Yes.
Those things always look like some kind of futuristic code to me.
They were pretty high-tech for their time.
They're quite ingenious, actually.
Ingenious.
They utilize a series of LEDs and plastic cards to display the route and upcoming stops.
LEDs and plastic cards. Clever.
Sounds simple enough,
Simple in theory.
but I bet those early models were a bit fucked up, weren't they?
Oh yeah, the early models had their issues.
You're right.
Yeah.
The early versions had limitations,
Limitations.
especially on lines with overlapping services.
Overlapping services, that was a problem.
They could only display one service at a time,
Just one service at a time.
which led to confusion.
Confusion, yeah, you can imagine.
So you'd be on the 2 train,
The 2 train.
But the map would be showing the 5 train stops.
Showing the 5 train. Oh, no.
That's some straight-up bullshit.
That would be confusing.
The MTA eventually addressed this issue by introducing combined strip maps.
Combined strip maps.
Okay. Capable of displaying multiple services simultaneously.
Multiple services, much better.
This solved the confusion and provided passengers with more accurate information.
Problem solved.
Thank fuck for that.
Yeah, that was a necessary improvement.
Can you imagine the chaos those early maps must have caused?
Oh, I can only imagine.
It was a necessary improvement to ensure passenger clarity and accurate road information.
Absolutely. Clarity and accuracy are key.
Now, you mentioned that the newer NTT models, like the R160, R179, and R211,
The newer models, right?
ditched those strip maps altogether?
Ditched the strip maps.
What the hell's going on with that?
Well, they moved on to something even better.
Those models feature digital display systems.
Digital displays, the future.
Essentially, giant smartphone screens inside the train car.
Like giant smartphones, yeah.
They provide even more information than the strip maps.
More information, that's always good.
Including route changes, transfer details, and elevator accessibility information.
Very helpful.
So they went from those old school LED lights to full-blown HD displays.
It's a big upgrade.
Damn, technology moves fast.
It does indeed.
These digital displays offer greater flexibility for route changes and service announcements.
Flexibility is important.
And they can display real-time service updates, a huge benefit for riders.
Real-time updates, that's a game changer.
Speaking of the R211,
The R211.
that thing looks like it came straight out of a sci-fi movie.
It does have a futuristic look.
Open gangways, futuristic displays. Shit's wild.
It's the latest and greatest.
The R211 represents the latest iteration of the NTT design.
The pinnacle of NTT evolution.
It's sleek, modern, and packed with features to enhance the passenger experience.
It's designed with the passenger in mind.
Okay, before we wrap up this first part of our NTT deep dive,
Okay.
let's pour one out for the homies.
A homie?
The retired models.
The retired models, a moment of silence.
You know those trains that have gone to the great scrapyard in the sky?
They served us well.
The R110A and R110MB prototypes were the first to be retired.
The prototypes, gone, but not forgotten.
They served their purpose in testing new technologies and paving the way for the mass-produced models.
They were pioneers.
RIP to those pioneers of subway innovation.
Rest in peace.
Some R110A and R110B cars were repurposed as work trains,
Repurposed, that's good.
so they're still contributing to the system in a different capacity.
Still working hard.
So they're completely gone,
Not completely.
just reincarnated as the workhorses of the subway world.
the workhorses, yeah.
Precisely.
Precisely.
All right, you magnificent bastards.
All right.
That's it for part 1 of our NTT extravaganza.
Part 1 down.
We've covered the good, the bad, and the ugly of the early days.
Early days, yeah.
But trust me, the ride's just getting started.
Oh, there's more.
We'll be back in part 2 to delve deeper into the evolution of these technological marvels.
Deeper into the evolution.
We'll uncover some hidden features, surprising stories,
Hidden features and surprising stories.
and maybe even a few conspiracy theories.
Conspiracy theories. Juicy?
So stay tuned, you degenerates,
Stay tuned.
and get ready for another mind-blowing dose of subway knowledge.
Mind-blowing subway knowledge. I can't wait.
We'll be back.
See you then?
All right, you subway riding degenerates, welcome back for part 2 of our deep dive into the New York City subway's new technology trains.
Part 2.
Last time we left off talking about those futuristic R211 trains with their open gangways.
The open gangways.
It's like they're trying to turn the subway into one giant rolling orgy.
Well, the open gangways are actually a significant design element intended to enhance passenger flow and reduce crowding.
Enhance passenger flow and reduce crowding.
Yeah, by allowing passengers to move freely between cars, the R211 aims to improve capacity and create a more comfortable riding experience.
Yeah, because nothing says comfortable like being sandwiched between a sweaty dude and a screaming baby, right?
Right. Well, crowding is an ongoing challenge, particularly during peak hours.
It is.
But the open gangways do offer a degree of flexibility and contribute to a more spacious feel throughout the train. Okay, sure. And let's not forget those badass digital displays they've got in the R211s.
The digital displays.
It's like having a personal GPS guiding you through the bowels of the city.
That's one way to put it. The digital displays in the R211s are a significant advancement in passenger information systems.
Advanced.
They provide real-time service updates, detailed transfer information, and even elevator accessibility information, all in a clear, easy-to-understand format.
So no more squinting at those ancient maps with their faded lines and missing stations.
Nope.
And no more relying on the conductor's mumbling ass to tell you where the hell you are.
No more mumbling conductors. The R211's digital displays represent a commitment to providing passengers with accurate, up-to-date information to enhance their journey.
Okay, but let's be real. The MTA loves to screw with us. So what's the catch with these fancy-ass trains? Are they going to cost a fortune to maintain or what?
Actually, the R211s are designed with maintainability in mind.
Maintainability. They feature modular components that can be easily replaced or repaired, potentially reducing downtime and long-term maintenance costs.
So they're like those IKEA furniture sets, but for subway cars.
IKEA furniture.
You just swap out the broken parts and boom, good as new.
While the comparison to IKEA furniture might be a bit simplistic, the concept of modularity does play a role in simplifying maintenance procedures.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
So speaking of the future, what's the grand plan for the rest of the subway system?
The grand plan.
Are they planning to phase out all the older models and replace them with these shiny new NTTs?
Well, the MTA has ambitious plans to modernize the entire subway fleet.
Modernize the entire subway fleet.
They've already retired several older models, and they're continuing to order new NTTs to replace aging rolling stock.
So one day, every train in this goddamn city will be a futuristic masterpiece.
That's the goal. It's a long-term goal that will require significant investment and ongoing efforts to address infrastructure challenges.
Well, I hope they figure it out soon, because riding on some of those older trains feels like taking a time machine back to the Stone Age. But what about all those lines that aren't running CBTC yet? When the hell are they going to get automated?
Automation is a gradual process. The MTA is gradually rolling out CBTC across the entire subway system. It's a complex and expensive undertaking, but they're making progress.
So you're telling me there's a chance that one day I can just kick back, crack open a beer, and let the train do all the work?
Crack open a beer.
No more worrying about some half-asleep conductor crashing the train.
Well, while CBTC does enhance train control and safety, there will still be a train operator on board, even with full automation.
Damn, there goes my dream of turning the subway into my personal bar car. But seriously, the thought of trains driving themselves is pretty mind-blowing.
It is impressive. It's a testament to the advancements in technology and the potential for automation to improve efficiency and reliability in complex transportation systems.
Okay, so we've talked about the past, the present, and the future. But what about the companies building these trains? Are we stuck with just Kawasaki and Bombardier, or are there other players in the game?
Kawasaki and Bombardier. While Kawasaki and Bombardier have been the dominant suppliers for the NTT fleet, there are other companies involved as well. Alstom, for example, was a major contributor to the R160 fleet.
So it's not a complete monopoly. That's good to know. I always like a little competition, keeps everyone on their toes.
Competition is healthy. Competition can indeed drive innovation and help ensure that the MTA gets the best value for its investments.
Speaking of investments, those new NTTs ain't cheap. I mean, we're talking billions of dollars here.
Billions of dollars. It's a major investment, but a necessary one.
All right, so let's cut to the chase. What the hell is the MTA's master plan for the subway system? Are they going to automate everything? Are they going to build new lines? Spell the T.
The master plan. The MTA's long-term plans are constantly evolving, but their primary focus is on improving service reliability, capacity, and accessibility.
So they're basically trying to make the subway suck, less I can get behind that.
That's a simplified way to put it. They're investing in signal upgrades, power enhancements, and station renovations to enhance the overall rider experience.
Okay, so they're not just throwing shiny trains at the problem and calling it a day. They're actually thinking about the big picture. I'm impressed.
They're taking a holistic approach. Modernizing a system as complex as the New York City subway requires a comprehensive approach that addresses infrastructure technology and operational challenges.
Well, let's hope they actually follow through on their plans.
Yeah.
Because I'm getting too damn old for this subway bullshit.
It's a work in progress. The MTA faces numerous challenges, both financial and logistical, but they are committed to making the subway a more reliable and efficient mode of transportation for the millions of New Yorkers who rely on it every day.
All right, folks, that wraps up part 2 of our NTT deep dive.
Part 2 done.
Join us in part 3, where we'll uncover some of the quirks and hidden features of these amazing machines.
Quirks and hidden features coming up.
Trust me, you don't want to miss this shit. What's up, you subway-loving weirdos? We're back for the final part of our deep dive into the New York City subway's new technology trains.
The final part.
Get ready for some seriously geeky shit as we uncover the quirks and hidden features of these rolling metal beasts.
I'm ready to get geeky.
All right, let's get this train rolling.
Let's do it.
Last time we talked about the MTA's master plan for the subway system.
The master plan, right?
Ambitious shit, right.
Very ambitious.
But now let's dive into the nitty-gritty, the weird little details that make these trains so damn interesting. Like, for instance,
Okay.
did you know that those digital displays on the R160 and R179, those find system,
The S-Find systems.
can actually display different messages depending on the situation?
Different messages. Interesting.
Yeah.
So tell me about it.
So, like, if the system's fucked up,
Uh-oh.
it'll tell you what's wrong
Makes sense.
instead of just going blank.
Oh, so it gives you information even if it's malfunctioning.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
So it's like they've got backup plans for their backup plans.
Backup plans on backup plans.
These MTA engineers think of everything.
They try to.
Speaking of information, let's talk about those electronic strip maps.
The strip maps.
I mean, those things were a trip back in the day. You'd be riding along and those little LED lights would be flashing like a disco ball.
Yeah, I remember those. The electronic strip maps were a significant innovation, providing a dynamic visual representation of the train's progress along the route. The flashing lights indicated upcoming stations, offering a clear and intuitive way for passengers to track their journey.
Yeah, but those early models were kind of messed up, weren't they?
The early models.
Like, they could only show one service at a time.
Right.
Which must have caused a shitload of confusion.
Oh, a lot of confusion.
That's correct. The early electronic strip maps had limitations, particularly on lines with overlapping services. If a train assigned to one line was used on another line with a different route, the strip map wouldn't accurately display the correct stops.
Oh, so if you're on the wrong train, the map wouldn't help you.
So you'd be looking at the map thinking you're going to Times Square and end up in fucking Coney Island. Talk about a buzzkill.
Oh, yeah, that would be a major bummer.
The MTA eventually addressed this issue by introducing combined strip maps capable of displaying multiple services simultaneously. This solved the confusion and provided passengers with more accurate information.
Thank goodness for that.
Thank God for that. Now, before we get too deep into the technical weeds, let's talk about something a little more fun. Remember those hilarious Aquafina announcements on the 7 train?
Aquafina, how can I forget?
The Aquafina takeover was a unique marketing campaign that injected a dose of humor into the subway experience.
I'm sure it did.
Hearing her tell you to stand clear of the closing doors, bitch, was pretty damn entertaining.
Oh, yeah, that would be pretty funny.
It was a memorable experience for many riders and demonstrated the MTA's willingness to experiment with new ways to engage passengers.
For sure.
Okay, so we've talked about the tech, the design, the quirks, but what about the overall impact of these NTTs on the subway system?
The overall impact.
Have they actually made a difference?
Well, they've definitely modernized the system.
Mm.
The introduction of new technology trains has significantly transformed the New York City subway system. They have improved reliability, increased capacity, and enhanced the passenger experience in numerous ways.
So basically, they've made the subway less of a shithole.
Less of a shithole, yeah.
I'll take it.
That's a win.
The NTTs represent a significant investment in the future of the system and have played a key role in the MTA's efforts to modernize and improve subway service.
Absolutely.
All right, folks, that's a wrap on our deep dive into the New York City subway's new technology trains.
That's it.
We've covered a lot of ground,
We have.
from the disastrous state of the subway in the 80s
The bad old days.
to the technological marvels we see today.
The future is now.
We've explored the prototypes, the mass-produced models,
All of them.
the crazy tech, and even the hilarious announcements.
It's been a wild ride.
We've exposed the hidden features, the surprising stories,
So many stories.
and the ongoing efforts to modernize this massive, complex system.
It's an ongoing process.
Hopefully you've learned some shit,
I hope so.
and maybe even had a few laughs along the way.
A few laughs, yeah.
Next time you find yourself crammed into a subway car,
Crammed in like sardines.
take a moment to appreciate the technology and engineering that went into creating these incredible machines.
Appreciate the trains.
And who knows, maybe one day you'll be riding on a fully automated train,
A fully automated train.
sipping a cocktail and enjoying a stand-up comedy routine,
Well, that would be nice.
all while hurtling through the tunnels beneath the streets of New York City.
The subway of the future.
The future of the subway holds endless possibilities.
Endless possibilities.
Until next time, you beautiful bastard,
Until next time.
keep it real and don't get caught riding between the cars.